Good evening, good afternoon, SpeedGaming 2 fans. Looks like we have a Pixel Remaster race for our tournament here against ShaneZell versus FFSteve. And here we go underway. So, if you haven't known the Pixel Remaster version very well, it follows very closely to the PSP version of Final Fantasy 1. And the first about 6.5, 7 minutes of the game are very long cutscenes that you barely get to really play through. So you'll be watching a lot of cutscenes in the first 6 minutes. The first 6 minutes are really just, run into Canaria, get your equipment that you want to start the game with, and then you run up to Garland. That's about the best of all the games that you're going to play. So now, a little bit of backstory on what's happening in the world of Final with themes, orbs, elements, crystals, what have you, all that good stuff. And we are here to kill chaos. That is correct. And the little bit of background on these two runners, as I know it. ShaneZell is a very avid Final Fantasy 1 runner. He runs mostly the NES version. He's been dabbling in doing pretty much any challenge under the sun you can think of for character classes. But he also plays this version and the MSX version and others. Very talented runner who knows the game inside and out. Background knowledge is top tier. FFSteve came into the Pixel Remaster community, I want to say maybe just about a month ago, maybe a little longer, and has been grinding down this game and enjoying it very much, and has grinded down his time to be very respectable as a PB. So we're probably looking at a very good match between these two. But of course, the RNG swings so much in this kind of a run. Looks like they're both about exactly on the same pace going into the King Talk. Interesting that Shane is running a totally different comp than the optimal world record strat that he would run. He's got 2 red mages instead of 2 black mages, but both using fighter black belt as their melee characters. That'll be a very interesting play. I personally not sure how that run plays out differently. The thing with the difference between a red mage and a black mage is if you don't know the character classes at all, black mages just get the black magic classes or spell shops. The red mage can dabble in both white magic and black magic. But they get less spell charges, kind of in higher levels. They get a lot lower damage than the black mages because it's based off how much your intelligence is. At every 10 intelligence points, you jump up a large amount of damage. The red mages start within the between the 1 and 20 range. Oh, sorry, 10 and 20 range, I believe. Or sorry, 1 and 15. Can't read. And then the black mages start between the 10 and 20 range. You get a chance to get 1 intelligence to level up every level up, but you also get certain level ups that are guaranteed to jump. Unfortunate for Steve that one of his black mages got chopped out by Garland. That's going to mess up his EXP and going to have his black mage at a lower HP range in the early game. And that's very dangerous because even with a good HP growth black mage, most things in the early game are going to be very dangerous for a black mage. Pretty much a one-shot. Shane, however, gets to Garland using the rapiers with the red mages to carry the damage, not the thunder spells of the black mage. So, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the differences between the red mage and the black mages. The red mages also get to have heavier armor equipped. They tend to be able to be just about as tanky as a fighter in the early game because they all the characters, or sorry, both characters, fighter and red mages, will have chainmails equipped, which is the best absorb armor you can get at this point in the game. The red mages are going to be tankier. The black mages are going to be basically pieces of paper because they just get cloth armor until very late in the run. So it looks like FFSteve, he's a little bit further ahead by seconds now. He's gotten into the bridge building cutscene just a little faster than Shane did, but and then in this part of the run, seconds are very easy to come and go by. It could just be a different encounter formation or whatever, you know. So there's not really going to be a noticeable lead difference yet. I'd say once we get to Marsh Cave, that's when you can see like, oh, that runner's ahead, because RNG and Marsh Cave, once you get out of Marsh Cave, kind of gives you a feel of where you are as a run. The runners will do the in-visit after the bridge scene because they are still low from the Garland fight. They have no magic charges or low HP. And then afterwards, we get our final early game cutscene that takes a long time. It's the actual bridge crossing cutscene that's in every Final Fantasy. This is the last of the long waits before we get a good stint of gameplay. But the talk about the comp, why we take the black mages in the world record potential runs and the more optimal speed run. It is going to do much better damage with the AoE spells. And that's how you're going to pretty much get through every fight in the game. You're either going to run from a fight, or you're going to have your black mages cast their best AoE spell to kill everything in the fight. Because this run does require you to take fights as you go. You need HP thresholds, you need levels. Black mages, with the proper spell choosing and your most optimal spell, can one-shot most fights along the way with their AoE spells. The red mages are not going to be able to do that. The red mages are going to have to double team every encounter pretty much. Sometimes, depending on what enemies show up, they might have to use 3 AoE spells to kill certain encounters. So the fights might be a big difference here. The red mages fights are going to be much slower than the black mages fights. So Steve might have the leg up on the party comp speed-wise, but Shane's party will potentially be safer. An auto battle through a few of these crash encounters on the way to Pravoka. On the way to Pravoka, the golden grail is to get some ogre fights. Crazy horses are not your best. They do a lot of damage, but they're not too hard to take down if you have an attack like this. The wolf fights, unfortunately, are one of the worst fights you can get. It's almost hardly worth taking, but they do die quick. The goal here is you want to try to get level 4 with your fighter on the way to Pravoka, because at level 4, the fighter will be able to do 2 swings at the rapier and more reliably one-shot the pirates in the current fight. If you don't make it to level 3 or level 4 because you would run from the fights you don't want to take, or something drastic happens like the fighter dies, then the fighter could end up kind of having to 2-shot some of the pirates to make the fight a little longer. Looks like we did have a death on both screens. Or a death on Steve's screen, and again, we're gonna have to revive. And that's that tissue paper black mage comp. It's very fragile. Shane's running after buying his tempers, going into pirate fight. Steve also opts to buy tempers right now before the pirate fight. It is a choice. You could double back here with the airship later, because you don't need the tempers until after you have the airship, technically. There's just really one fight that you can potentially use them on that's worthwhile as far as cost goes. So both choosing to get tempers will save time on the revisit later with the airship. Shane gets through a very quick pirates fight because the rapiers just take so much less animation time than a thundercast and are able to just chop down the pirates pretty quickly. Steve's getting some pretty decent level ups so far. If you look at that top black mage, 73 HP is very good. If you look at the bottom black mage, 27 HP is very bad. We do not like low HP black mage. But if we look at the HP on the other side of Shane, now here's another kind of pitfall of the red mages. The pitfall is the red mages, for whatever reason, have atrocious HP growth. They're just as bad as black mages as far as HP growth goes. So as the run goes on, these red mages are probably going to be in dangerously low HP ranges, and they're probably not going to have any better armor than the black mages once we get past the Melmont. If Steve decides to try those different. Steve's getting out of Provoke and also getting on the ocean. On the ocean, we want to get the best money fights we can. So our red Sahags are pretty good. They usually are accompanied with a shark or a large pack enemy, so that's not so good. But the Buccaneers are the golden grail on the ocean. We would like to see the Buccaneers show up, kill them for a sweet 600 gold, possibly more if they drop a saber that we can sell. And looks like Shane makes it to Canary, decides to do a in-visit to replenish HPs and things. So safety strat over there. Unfortunately, gets the Goblin fight the way out. Kind of wastes a little bit of time there because they're worth just about nothing. All right, getting some more red Sahagins, or Sahagan Chiefs, I should say. Again, the second best thing you can see on the ocean is the red Sahagins. They give more money than any other mob other than the Buccaneer. But the shark that comes with them will danger. Okay. Steve choosing to run away from this pack because this pack is also, it's just very much no money, no EXP. It's hardly worth that. And there's 5 Buccaneers for Shane. This is amazing for him. It's a large amount of cash out of this. Even more so if you get a saber or a couple saber drops. Sometimes it's more than one. See if he gets that luck here. Did not get sabers, but still very welcoming to get that large chunk of cash from that one fight. So in Elfheim, we go ahead and try to get a Thundara cast from at least one character. Usually, if you're buying Tempers and Provoca, you're not going to have enough money to buy Thundara on 2 characters, unless you get some amazing luck on Ocean. So Shane buys one Thundara, goes back to the Ocean to use that Thundara and make a little bit more cash, gets a little more levels. Fortunately, he didn't account for the fact that red mages get their spell charges a little bit slower than the black mages do, so he didn't have a castle Thundara for this fight without using it. Steve, another decently good EXP and money encounter. His black mages are both at 75, which is just a bit above the worst it could be. The one that started off pretty big hasn't really jumped up ahead any further. Whereas we have 64 HP on one of the red mages on Shane's screen. Was that 81 on the other? It's hard to tell. So characters grinding up money because what we're doing here is we're preparing for Marsh Cave. Marsh Cave is probably the most dangerous place in the run up to this point for sure, but maybe just overall, it's where a lot of runs go to die. There's just so many things in that cave that are dangerous. Gargoyles can one-shot your black mages if they don't have great HP growth. You also have scorpions. A lot of enemies that poison your party, so if you didn't bring enough antidotes, you're kind of in a bad space. You want a lot of potions, because a lot of enemies are just going to chunk out a lot of HP. Then, of course, you have the coveted crown, which is guarded by the 4 pistol demons. Ooh, 2 ogres on Shane's screen, though. We like to see that. Great EXP, great money. Let's use his item shopping completed here. He can buy some antidotes. So 3 antidotes, 9 potions. 9 and 3, in my experience, should be enough. Should be enough to get through, but it will be close to just enough. Tarantulas, in my opinion, are worth taking as well. What Steve's taking here, the tarantula fights are decent money in EXP for the amount of work you have to put into them. The only downside is you can get a straight poison, like what happened on Shane's screen, shooting up 20 antidotes. Again, wolf packs not worth taking unless you can reliably use the Pandar, not quick. Shane taking the 4 undead. Looks like Shane wants to take a more EXP kind of money safe route here. Normally that'd be a fight to run from. Ooh, the great oozes, in my opinion, are pretty much the only regular encounter that is safe and easy to take and is good money in EXP. So good for Steve for taking that fight. Shane chooses to pick up the box in the room just under the entrance of the 2nd floor. I believe it's a potion. Oh, he went all the way to get the weapon, the sword. Now that's worth grabbing if you're going on melee strats. Alright, and because of that detour, Steve has gotten steps ahead of Shane here. So they're pretty neck and neck at this point. Steve chooses to grab this Phoenix down. It's a pretty good safety strat to grab because there's a high chance someone's going to die at the Pistol Demon fight. Take advantage of the diagonal stepping to take less encounters than down right would be, so we go diagonal right. Go in this box, 2-box room, the cottage and the potion. Potion obviously good use, but the cottage could be 1,000 gold in our pocket if we get into a good favorable situation after Esco or before, so we don't have to use it. But it's also a nice full heal for if we have bad luck on it faster, OHP. And here goes Steve, quick save and Pistol Demon. He gets a regular encounter, no preemptive, but no ambush. So we're gonna hope that Thundara goes out. And it will. How many does it take out? Takes out. Ooh, perfect. It takes out 3, and then the last character to swing will take out the last 15. Steve gets through in 1 and 10. Shane had a little wipe. I believe it was to was it the Scorpions? I didn't quite see. So he has to redo his 4 here, unfortunately. Steve grabs that Phoenix down. He will choose to use it, or he's thinking, yeah, he'll use it now. He'll get his black mage up, and he'll have the full party walk out of the cave here. So Steve gets through one of the most RNG intense parts of the run. Unfortunately, now he's got the 4 Scorpion fight itself. This could be bad. He does lose the fighter. He fails his first round plea. Oh, and he chooses to reset. And here's the problem with the Pixel Remaster on Steam is there is no soft reset. If you want to get out of the game quick, or get out of the fight quick and restart, you have to force close the game. And then you have to reopen the game. And it's just annoying. It takes seconds that you don't want to use. Steve is saved in the middle of the floor. I think he's trying to remember, does he have the crown? I wonder if he's not sure. Shane gets this Thundara out from one of the red mages. The other Thundara come in. from his red mage. And that's that. Shane gets through the Pistol Demon fight with 2 red mages. And there's the safety strats right there of the higher absorb characters being able to tank those hits with the Pisco Demons. So, we're looking at a potential neck-and-neck race going into Asterisk, although Steve seems to be paused in here. I'm not sure what's going on with Steve there. And it looks like Shane is opting to walk poisoned. I don't believe he has enough antidotes. Maybe that's the issue. Alright, so we're just going to run away from most of everything we can on the way out of Marsh Cave. Maybe take Grey Oozes and maybe an easy undead pack. Oh, I wonder if Steve's controller is having issues because I know with my client, when I close and open it too quickly, Steam is really bad at recognizing your PS5 controller, and it will just never recognize your controller if you open the game too quickly after closing it. And that might be what happened, and he's trying to figure out the remedy to the issue here. Uh-oh. That's not good. Lost 2 characters right before the exit. But we have what we need. What we want is 2 Temper Casters and the Black Belt for Astos. Since we did pick up Temper. So we should be safe to get to Astos at this point, unless we get a pretty high damage encounter. Ogre would be really the only thing we could see that would be a little dangerous at this point on the way up. We get one more fight before we get there. Yo, what's up, John the Engineer? Nice to see you guys in here enjoying this Remaster race. Yeah, that's my guess if Steve is having controller issues. Might have to just keyboard it, which is not fun ever to have to change the mode of input. Alright. I would guess Shane's going to opt to use the cabin here. If he wants to get his characters out of Sandara one-shot range. Or a tent. He has a tent. Good call. Buy a tent, it's a lot cheaper, you get to sell the cottage later. If you have the money, it's a good investment. Alright. Astos, the number 2 major run killer of the run. But after this, it's not too dangerous until we get to Lich. We'll see what kind of luck we get out of Astos. Now, here's an interesting fact that not a lot of people know about this game. And I found this out the hard way. So boss fights in this game have set stats. Everything's set except for the luck stat. The luck stat is randomly rolled between 1 and 50 every time you encounter the boss. Alright, it's not set per save file. So why is that important here on F? Well, luck affects a lot of things. One of the things it affects is your spell damage. If Astos rolls a high enough luck stat, it can break him into a new threshold of damage, and instead of his Fire Thundara doing around 80 damage to your party, it'll do around 120 to 130 to your party. And it can be a run killer, just because you got unlucky luck stat. It's very uncommon. You usually get the 70 to 80 damage AoE spells out of Astos, but I have seen it a couple times. We do get the Tempers out on round 2 here, so that's good. Oh, but we got the death on the bottom slot, Black Belt. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Now, there is still hope. If we temper up the top red mage so it's not slowed, he might be able to start doing enough damage. Or sleep through that last one round, but it has to rant last one more. Ooh, dark is not good. Still hitting decent. It's better to be blinded than to be slowed. Oh, this is probably it right here. There it is. Shane gets through by tempering up the red mage. Grabbing that sword. I believe it's a broadsword out of Marsh Cave. Was a good call. That damage of that broadsword really helped that after fight. Not the it's kind of like, oh man, 2 people dead at Astos. That's actually pretty okay because the characters that want to get the best growth, the fastest growth of HP are the red mages. So the fact that we split the Astos EXP into 2 characters that are important rather than 4 characters that aren't quite as important, that's actually kind of optimal. So for Shane, that's a good thing. Ooh, that could have been a dangerous encounter. Those 4 scorpions. Good for Shane to get away from that one. All right. Will he pick up both? He will pick up the black belt, which I was hoping that's the call he would do because at this point, the fighter in the run has served its purpose as a living character. The fighter will not be used to do damage to anything else until he is petrified, that is. In Earth Cave, we want to get our black belt and our fighter petrified because petrification in this version of Final Fantasy 1 is unique in the fact that when you're petrified, you still get EXP. So our black belt is what wants the EXP. We're going to have the EXP on the black belt while he's petrified, shooting up levels for the end game. But more importantly is petrified characters in this game can be targeted by enemy attacks and will always result in a miss. So what we do is we try to get 2 characters petrified, put them in the top of the party, and just bait as many free attacks on those characters as we can throughout the run. So what we're going to see Shane do is he's going to leave the fighter down, funnel more EXP into the red mages and the black belt by proxy. And when we get done doing all this fetch quest stuff on the inner tree, going to Matoya to get the Jolt Tonic and bringing it back to get the key. By the time we revisit Canary to grab the TNT here, that's when he'll pick up the fighter, I would guess. Plus, it's a cheaper revive and a cheaper end, so kind of a lot of benefit to leaving the fighter dead. Can they subtract time off later? Usually that's not how it works out, but potentially, I'm not sure as I'm not the tournament organizer what the rule is going to be on this kind of situation. Very unfortunate. Yeah. All right, so we make it up to Matoya. There's 3 boxes on the left here. They're just 2 potions and antidote, which is value-wise very cheap. It's like 130 gold or something. But we pick them up anyways because we want potions and antidotes, and it's quick enough where it's worthwhile. But potentially these boxes would be skippable if you really were trying to optimize your time. It's like 3 seconds extra at worst that you're using to get those items. Oh, I just noticed. I was looking. It looks like Shane has opted to, instead of buying a second Thundara spell on the red mage that does not have Thundara, he bought Pyra, which is an interesting call, and in my opinion, a good call, because Thundara really won't have much use except for a handful of little situations coming up. We use it to clear the fights on the ocean really quick. After pretty much other than that, we will maybe use the Thundara cast in conjunction with the Thundaga on canoe fights, but otherwise, Thundara is really not going to have much use now going forward, other than quick sweeps of low HP enemies. Pyra will be very useful in Earth Cave. Many things in Ice Cave are weak to fire spells. Also, Ice Cave are weak to fire spells. And then later in the game, there are some enemies, even in like Sky Castle, that are weak to fire spells that can be killed by Pyra. So, Pyra is a good pickup. It's one that's been kind of bounced back and forth as an idea to pick up in the speedrun route for world record pace. But yeah, we've kind of opted to not get Pyra in conjunction with both Thundaras, just because it's a lot of money lost. But in this kind of a race where you're looking for a safe strat to get you through, it's a good pickup in my opinion. We do get our Mystic Key. Shane will see if he opts to grab the Elf Treasury. He does. We'll get 4 boxes up here, unless he skips the Bronze Gauntlet. Decides to get it. Ooh, an Ogre. Pretty good. The Giga Worm will die to the Pyra. The Ogre will get 1 punch. Why would skip Gauntlet? Yeah, just basically skip like not even a full second, maybe a full second, depending on how your text box is slow opening the box. But it's something that the world record pace does skip. Looks like we have no OBS next now out of FFSteve. Operation, see if he said anything. Does not. All right, so we pick up all these boxes. Everything that we're picking up from the Canaria Treasury, the Keylok Elfland Castle. In a regular run, we'd sell just about all of it. I'm curious if any of this will be held onto for the remainder of the run. Like, we're gonna get a Mithril Mail and a Dragon Sword inside of Dwarf Cave. We would normally sell it for a large amount of money, but the Dragon Sword and the Mithril Mail would be great additions for the Red Mages to use. And the fact that we are using Red Mages is we're not going to have very much Faraga charges in Earth Cave. When we get the Lich, I wonder, I think we'll maybe have 1 Faraga charge, maybe 2 on each Red Mage. So, that's the thing with this route. It's so different than how you would play a Black Mage route, just because your spell charges are so far behind the Black Mage route. You would have to really change your approach on how you kill fights, what you use money for, and what you sell to get your money. I looked at our Discord. It looks like Steve had some issues. His computer wouldn't allow him to force close out of OBS, and so he had to restart his entire computer. do have Shane here getting the last of the longish, although not too long compared to the first cutscenes, but the last of the cutscenes other than the airship coming up. This is the part of run that starts to get pretty fun paced, just kind of constantly going, and not sitting through cutscenes like this. So after the TNT cutscene, you pretty much have a fun hour of gameplay coming up where you just constantly are going through fights, going through dungeons, and just playing the game. We have question in chat. Since it's not a randomizer, can they watch each other's stream? Yes, you are allowed to watch each other's stream during this race because, like you said, there's no knowledge to be found. Every piece of knowledge in the game is the same every time. Everybody knows the game, type of thing. So we're picking up these boxes here. See if he equips anything, or if he will choose to sell it. Yeah, what John's saying, and every fiend can be a pain. From my personal experience, I've lost not world record, but world record attempts with good paces. I've lost some runs to every single fight in the game. Boss fight. Like I've lost obviously to Astos. I've lost to the vampire. I've lost the Lich one. I'll just go in the order of the typical speedrun. After Lich 1, typically the next one that you're going to fight will end up being Kraken 2. I definitely have lost my runs to Kraken 1. Lost to Kraken 1. And then you would go Tiamat. I've definitely lost runs to Tiamat. And unironically, I've lost a run, Harry 1, deciding to crit swing on my black belt 2 turns in a row. So even the fiends that you would expect to not be dangerous can potentially be dangerous in this run. Yeah, Shane will continue to run this out for sure. But there's a good chance he's popped up the stream and seen where we're at. So looks like we're putting one silver bracelet on the black belt. That's good because that'll give the black belt some good survivability. And the chainmails that we have from the very beginning of the game offer the exact same absorb value as the silver bracelet does. So we don't have to put any of those on the red. And Shane's showing off some knowledge tech. He knew he was like 1 to 2 steps from having an encounter, so before using the inn, he decided I'm going to walk outside, get my quick encounter, use the inn, and then I'll walk my long trek to Earth Cave with full spell charges. Alright, so there's something very special about the Earth continent here. There is an encounter scattered inside of the Titan's Tunnel and the walk down by Earth Cave in Sarda that is the Tiger encounter. If we get the Tiger encounter, we love it because there is a small chance that when you kill the tigers, they can drop an X potion, which if you don't know what that does, it's a full heal item, full HP heal item, and full HP heal items are how we are able to use this kind of party comp to make it through the chaos fight. So the more we get, the better. And if we get them, we can potentially save a lot of time not going out of the way to grab the ones that are in the route for safety. Alright, so we do have Shane's still making his way through the Earth Cave now. Let's go and grab this Coral Sword up here. It's another great sword that the Red Mages can equip. shuffle that broadsword down. So now our weaponry is pretty good for where we're at in the game. We have a coral sword, a dragon sword, and the broadsword from Marsh Cave among the red mages and fighter. Pretty good melee power right there. So good, in fact, that we are going to kill these 4 wolves because we should one-shot all of them. All right, now this floor is the floor that we like to see one encounter pop up in particular, Cactus encounter. This is our potential to set up the rest of the game, getting our 2 characters petrified that we don't want to keep up throughout the run. I'm curious, it looks like he's keeping a red mage up there. He might petrify the fighter and 1 red mage. That might be the goal, which is interesting because I personally don't know how this run is going to play out. A double red mage strat because I've never played it myself or seen it played. So I'm curious how he's going to strategize around this whole party here. Just meleeing what we can on our way through. Things double by quick. Just about every fight on the floor is worth killing. If you're trying to play it kind of safe. The wolves maybe are less of the good enemy packs to see, but everything in here is decent money, decent EXP. Ooh, and there's our cactus fight. Let's see what's in. He gets petrified on the fighter. He autos through it. Looks like he wasn't really wanting a fighter to get petrified right away. But since it happened, he's going to take advantage of it. Because you would sit in that fight and let another character get petrified by defending if you wanted to get petrification going. He had the auto battle set ready to go. Looked like he might have wanted to keep his characters from being petrified. We're going to buff up the black belt to take out the vampire quickly. Haste blew 1 off first. Could have probably one-shot the vampire. Fyra coming out, and that there, black belt punch does it. So we get through the vampire fight with different methods than we would see with the black mages. Actually buffing up our black belt, doing the job. Probably going to see the same thing for Lich. Now we have to run outside of Earthgate, the long run back, just to get the rod from the sage on the other side of the island. Then we have to run all the way back. Ooh, large ogre pack. Great fight to see for money and EXP. Not so great whenever you can't AoE it down time-wise, so you have to sit through this fight, hunting it, swinging at it. Those cure charges in level 1 are acting as stand-in potions, so the benefit of the red mage is being able to use the cure slot 1 spells and have more healing every time you're refreshed from the end. Captain Adore to point out that Shane, although this run has been very smooth, it is 3 minutes behind his PB. That is just due to the fact that Red Mage fights take long to get smooth in the black mage fights. He's not doing anything wrong with this comp, it's just slower to swing your weapons at things than cast spells at things. Even a fight like that mummy fight that we took it out with our spells, but it took 2 spells, whereas with black mages it would be a 1 spell fight. So it's just gonna be where this comp will shine is like large enemies like these Hillgigases. Small amounts of large enemies in a fight, through them probably faster than casting the spells to kill them. And so we're keeping it going. We're almost out of Earth Cave. Yeah, this floor to go through, then the entrance floor, which is fairly short. And as I was saying that Shane wants to see the larger sized enemies in smaller packs show up, that is exactly what he's seeing, which is great for his party. This is not a fight that you like to see, especially when you don't have 2 Thundara casts or Fire casts as red mages. Use the tent, get some spell charges back just so we can handle those kind of fights if we see them pop up again. And there it is again. This time we are prepared. This is out 2 spell casts. I know Shane in the back of his mind is hoping to see these tigers pop up. Feeding the right ruby to the Titan, always a welcome. And the walk down the start, you usually get 2 fights. Sometimes you get 1, depending on where your encounter lines up. But problem is, the game has this weird carryover all the way from Final Fantasy 1 NES version. The world map is split up into quadrants and in certain quadrants, well, not quadrants, but they're big, large squares. We got goblins at this point in the game, right outside of Stardust Cave. You might be wondering, that's kind of weird. Goblins are the first starting area enemy. Why would those be at this point in the game? Well, like I was saying, the world map is gridded into squares, and inside those squares, you can get certain encounters from enemies. And for whatever reason in the NES version, the square, there's just like the top of the square barely overlaps the land around Stardust Cave entrance there. And so it's defaulted to all goblins because the majority of that square is in the ocean. And all they really thought about for that square was the ocean encounters. And the default encounter for everything that's not pre-programmed to be something else is goblins. So that's why you only see goblins if you walk back and forth in front of Stardust Cave. It's because they just never put other encounters in that square since only a small strip of land is actually traversable there. And that is, on pointing out the Peninsula Power in the NES version, that is exactly why that Peninsula Power is the same way, is because it's the lower square of encounters from the area by Lefane. So that lower square flips the little Peninsula Power to allow you to get the Lefane encounters there. Um, Weirdly enough, though, they did take the Peninsula Power out of this version and realigned the encounters, but they just never thought about doing anything with Sardis Cave and just left it all goblins. Don't know why. Could have been an oversight. Could have been intentional. Maybe they don't want Sarda being surrounded by dangerous enemies. He is an old man after all. Alright, so it's been a while since we talked about HPs here. And glancing at Shane's red mages, he's actually at the minimum HP you would want your black mages to be at going into the Lich fight. You want a minimum of 130, preferably mid 130s or 140s, because a good Ice 2 roll, or Blizzard, I should say, sorry, from Lich, can still one-shot you in the 130. But we'll get another level, possibly 2 levels on the way to Lich, I would imagine. And hopefully that's just going to be that HP that we want to get out of one-shot range. If I was a bet man, I would say Shane's probably planning on not letting the black or anybody else get petrified, and he's just going to let that top slot do the stone statue thing for the rest of the run. Going to be using his black belt to get through the boss fights rather than the traditional cast spells or problem method that we tend to use in our speed runs. Fire should take out all these undead. They have low enough HP for fireworks. So kill. There they go. Large amount of money in this box for where we're at in the game, so we like to pick it up for safety. Swing our way through this ogre encounter. Another great fight. It's a little bit of a slow one. Little safety quick save in the middle of the floor is a good idea. It can be pretty unforgiving if you get a bad tactics encounter. You can just instantly get petrified. Or you could get paralyzed. Woo, got away with our only character up. That was good. But yeah, getting paralyzed locked by those images can be very annoying as well. Sorry, Wraiths. I interchanged the NES names with the Remaster names because the top NES I've played. Going through the floor. Alright, new territory. The 4th basement level of Earth Cave. So the Coral Sword is Thunder Elemental and actually does better damage to the Pisco Demons since they are vulnerable to the Thunder spell than the Dragon Sword would. So, Sword Elemental damage bonus is a thing to consider sometimes whenever you are fighting certain enemies with multiple or with different types of swords. Dragon Sword would do extra damage to anything classified as a dragon in the game. There's a giant sword out there that we won't see, but it would do everything that's considered a giant in the game. There's a rare sword out there that does fire damage to everything considered rare, which is a very small amount of enemy. Rune sword, mages. Ice sword, ice weaknesses. Flame sword, flame weaknesses. Sun sword, undead weaknesses. And then Excalibur for the knight, which we won't see, but Excalibur is useful against any type of enemy in the game that gets bonus damage as long as it's typed as something, which means everything in the game except for chaos. Alright, we're about to get the Lich, though. This is usually the last high level of threat fight that we deal with in the run. After this, it's pretty good smooth sailing until we get to the Temple of Fiends for Zid. Well, Tiamat 1 is actually a pretty dicey fight, so I would say up until Tiamat 1, this is going to be the most dangerous fight that we see. Curious, are fighter plus maximum stats better or worse than monk? You're going to be able to ramp up the monk's damage with spells of temper and haste faster than the fighters with the mass moon, but they are very close to the same amount of damage. But because the black belt gets more hits, temper boosts damage better the more hits that you have. Ooh, so we'll have to reapply that haste, which we do. There we go. So that was a good use of haste on Shane's part. Haste is it's a toggle. It's an up. It's like a ladder, right? You're either neutral, or you're one up hasted, or you're one under neutral slowed. And haste and slow just move you up and down the ladder one position. So if you're hasted, you get slowed, you go to neutral. If you get slowed again, you go to slow. If you're slow, you're hasted, you go to neutral. And you have to cast haste again to get the haste. We're having a bit of a rough fight as far as what spells Lich decides to use. He's taking up a lot of time out of us by using a lot of slow sleeps and things. But we did get through first time, even with rough random spells. So GG for Shane, gets through the last of the higher danger fight. Not to say there's no danger in the rest of the run, but we won't see nearly as much RNG heavy danger. Maybe Ice Cave has a bit of it, but that's about it. So unfortunate for Shane, didn't see any of the tigers this time around and will not be getting the free X potion at this point. There's still a small chance to see a tiger fight when we're doing the whole waterfall sequence and the caravan buying the bottled fairy. You could get a tiger around that area, so it's not impossible to get the X potion still for free, but much, much slimmer odds than when we see the Earth Cave walk. Take advantage of Pandara to get rid of these potion encounters. Quickly, plus 3. We just want to get the Crescent Lake as fast as possible. These fights that we take along the way won't be offering us too much value. Ooh. Sharks probably, yeah, they're gonna stay alive, but we did get through the fleet. Shane lining up this long ship sailing to the west, perfectly in line with the position of the dock that is at Crescent Lake. A little fun game to play with. Play whenever you are trying to do the run as a, hey, how far down do I have to go under Earth Cave's continent to line up perfectly here? All right. So Crescent Lake. The shopping is going to be very different here. As you can see, we didn't even bother buying Faraga on our red mages. I wonder if he's going to buy double Thundagas. Oh, wait, he can't even do that. I think that's a promotion thing. I can't remember if red mages can learn Thundaga or not. I believe maybe yes. But it would be something I don't expect him to do because spell charges will just not be there for a long time, regardless if he can do it or not. I think what we have in our spell utility kit right now is all we're going to use for the rest of the game. Sell everything from the fighter. Like 2 mithril swords. Got 2 bucklers, which is a very good pickup because shields in this game are not just defenses, they're like armor numbers increase. They actually have a chance to negate damage entirely with a shield block. So definitely like the buckler pickup here. Stock up on high potions. Looks like we did save enough money for Thundagas. 26,000 gold is what we would want to buy 2. Though he didn't buy them, so I'm just lost at this point. But we do have our canoe. Looks like we will take our canoe. More than likely, I'm gonna guess he's still gonna go for the ice cave play instead of volcano. That would be a little silly to go the volcano by canoe on a speedrun. White Croc is a dangerous enemy as far as the damage that it puts out, but a very good enemy for EXP and money at this point in the game. One of those high risk, high reward type of things. Red piranhas are just a little more than he would like to show off, as well as having to kill that White Croc. Solo White Croc, that is still on the Alright, and now we get into Ice Cave. Played vanilla Ice, or sorry, NES Ice Cave, or really any other version of Ice Cave. There's a lot of deadly types of encounters to come across in here. Cactuses and mummies on floor 1 are slightly dangerous for petrification. Not too bad though. The Disco Demon attacks are large. They can punch through your character's HP pretty quick. You can get Frost Dragons, which can spam AoE Blizzard for a huge amount of damage against your party. You can get Dark Mages, which can cast Faraga, Thundaga, and Scourge to pretty much kill your party with any combination of those two things. You have the Sorcerers, which have Death Touch, and then you have Trance on them as well. So, Ice Cave is never a fun place to be. Looks like we have Shane's streams a little frozen here. There it is. Oh yeah, and then just like anything that I didn't mention, like these specters and the Wraith from Earth Cave are in here as well. They have paralysis touch, and they will paralyze your party and just whittle you down with you watching what happens slowly. So just so much in Ice Cave is not fun to deal with. You got Frost Wolf packs as well that can spam low AoE damage Frost, but they come in such numbers that it could be a potential dangerous situation if the majority of the party of wolves decides to use the Frost attack. There is a flame sword up here in the top left chest. I'm thinking he's gonna take the detour to grab it because that'll be a good pickup for his red mages. Even the double AoE not enough to guarantee to kill on specters. That's just a little bit annoying to have to deal with that. Alright, now we have a large pack of undead enemies. All of them can paralysis us. Hopefully, we get our AoE skills off before that happens. Fire goes off. Goes half. Andara leaves one alive. Alright, where are we at HP wise? Red mages are looking interestingly average. Black belt also pretty average for where we're at in the game. Actually, 248's kind of decent. So he's got, I would say, pretty average HP totals at this point of the run. Nothing to be worried about, but would like to see him higher. The Flame Sword coming into play here. Everything in Ice Cave is weak to the Flame spell except for a couple little enemies. It's going to do enhanced damage and be able to one-shot just about everything it swings against. Alright, and we're going to be getting to the eye fight here. We pick up that ice shield because it's good to sell it. good money later. Right there, might as well. And I easily downed. And we get our Levistone. And now we get to drop down and do half the ice cave all over again just to get out. Very annoying. And there's always that one enemy that survives the large AoE spells. We're on our final floor, almost out of the ice cave. Good riddance. Never want to come back again. Oh, we're gonna pick up the box down here. I believe this is a large amount of money, if I remember right. Got one paralyzed character, not good. We'll get through fine. Yeah, it's just a big chunk of money. My guess is he's saving up a lot of money. He's getting a lot of extra money for buying ruby bracelets and pro rings on all the characters when we get to that point where we go to Gaia, which will be coming up fairly soon. But the pro rings are not too bad. They're like pretty easy to afford the pro rings, but the ruby bracelets are very expensive and would like to grab them, I'm sure. Worst case scenario, we just buy 2 because we'll be picking up the diamond bracelet shortly after our Gaia visit anyways. But to grab 3 pro rings and 2 ruby bracelets would be, let me do the math in my head, 80,000 gold for the ruby bracelets, 54,000 gold for 3 pro rings, about 134,000 gold I want, or gil I want to say. So if we don't have that, we can't get the rubies for 3 pros. Alright, now we're back to the ship. We're almost at the best mode of transportation. Gotta get through about 2 more encounters so we can get that airship up and running. And zoom across the overworld. No encounters. Full speed. Just going wherever we need to go with no issues. Ooh, that's a little annoying. Well, 3 of the Buccaneers then flee. But probably not going to need that one. Alright, this is our final kind of little cutscene in the game. I mean, we have a little bit when we talk to Dr. Un, that's just a little bit of dialogue that's longer. Other than that, this is it. We just get to play the game for the rest of the game now. And 1 single ink egg. All right, so after the airship, our first business is to go to Waterfall. We do Waterfall first because, well, we have to do it eventually, right? We have to use or get the key item out of here to get into the Sky Temple, or Sky Castle. But another good reason is the fights in Waterfall are worth a good amount of money and XP. We'd like to have both at this point still. The treasures deep in the Waterfall are also worth a lot of money to sell, which we're going to be selling most of them. But we also get a ribbon, which really enhances our safety from just dying to random weird status effects or damage. So the Waterfall is a very good idea to do right after the airship. Unfortunately, you'd like to kill the king mummies because those are huge amounts of money. But with this party count, a large pack of mummies with them is just too much to handle. Not too much to handle, but just takes too long. Another good money fight. These have low HP, so we should be able to Thundaro them, even with the low damage of the Red Mage. Play Golem's also pretty low HP. Decent EXP and money. And then the Nightmares. We've seen it all almost. Nightmares, probably the least lucrative fight to kill in this place. They don't give as much money. Their EXP is pretty okay though, so it's still worth killing. Nice little preemptive on this 9-pack. That helps speed this up and take things from the death player away. All the treasures picked up. Oh, I was gonna say, don't forget to talk to the robot, buddy. Got our warp cube. So we're gonna equip the ribbon here, I would imagine. Very good. And we got a lot of good stuff to sell for money when we get out of this place. There's one rare enemy that we haven't seen pop up yet called the Gas Dragon. Or the Poison Dragon, whatever they are. Green Dragon, whatever they are in this version. I'm curious to see if he pops up. Ooh, big crit on Black Belt. There he is, the Green Dragon. We've seen it all. Green Dragon is huge money EXP. Even though he's just one enemy by himself, he has huge money in the EXP for this point in the game. He is like twice as lucrative as any other encounter in this place. Sometimes 3 times as lucrative. Pretty easy to take out too. He just does a lot of AoE damage without ribbons and uses poison gas attack. He can be pretty deadly. But we have 1 ribbon, so it wouldn't be too dastardly. Alright. Shane's gonna do the Cardia Island drop by here. He's gonna grab the X potion out of here, but he's also gonna grab the money, I would imagine. Yeah, he's gonna grab all this big money. All this adds up to a large amount of money. Will just help his shopping trip even further. Because along with the armor and Gaia that he might want to be purchasing, there are some not too cheap like damage and HP tonics that he's going to want to buy at the caravan after the bottled fairy too. So he does grab both full heal items. Couple wear tigers, not too bad to take. Right. Caravan buying the bottle of fairy time. Sell. Well, first we'll grab our 3 giant tonics and 3 speed drinks. Doesn't choose to sell yet. He'll probably sell when we get to the armor shop, though. Three speed drinks is all we buy because it's really only beneficial to use on chaos, and 3 speed drinks get you to where you need to be for chaos. You don't need any more than that. Same with the 3 giant drinks. You're only going to want them for chaos to get your max HP up to 999. And it only takes 3 at most. 2 if you have a good HP growth. Alright, looks like he's going to be a little bit short of 2 ruby bracelets. Oh, no, he didn't sell everything. I was wondering, I was like, I thought he had enough money. He forgot the wizard staff, plus the mithril mails. Now we're good. We are all armored up. The best we could possibly be until we get that diamond bracelet. We'll get those ribbons along the way as well. Otherwise, just pure defensively, we are very tanky right now. Pro Rings being the best glove piece in the game, Ruby Bracelet being the second best mage light armor to equip in the game. Both boasting pretty respectable defense. Pro Ring will have the added benefit to protect you from status effect death. So like your death spell will be resisted fairly more often. Now that enemy there, the Neochu, that's an enemy you're going to see pop up probably at the end of the Sky Castle dungeon later. But you can see already that the red mages and the black belt don't punch it for a lot of damage. There's a lot of enemies in the late game that just get such high defense that these red mages are not going to be able to do a lot of good swings against, even with upgraded weapons. So we're getting closer to that point to run where just swinging your way through the encounters is not going to be very efficient, and it's going to take a lot of time. But with this comp, we don't have much better options. Alright, so we will choose to go to the mermaid side first. It is just kind of a better plan to go mermaid side first, because it gives you a chance to get a little more EXP, and it allows you to get that diamond bracelet before going to the Kraken fight, which probably won't make a difference, but it'll make a difference on the fights on the way through. Kraken wants to punch you, even with the best armor you can have available. You're pretty good chance you're not going to survive that punch, especially a mage. And speaking of mages, we're at HP check-in time. We're approaching 230 HP on our red mages, which is the minimum you would want to take your mages into the chaos fight with. We're looking pretty good there. The black belt, we're at the high 270s, I believe I saw, close to 300 almost. That's pretty good too, because by the time we get to chaos, we'd like our black belt to get to about 330 HP. We get them up higher than that. Like if we get up to like 500 HP, which can happen, he would only need 2 giant tonics used on him in the fight, which is pretty good to have because that just frees up an extra turn to buff up your character. Chaos is a fight where every little turn matters. But that's the problem for later. Even these fights that you are witnessing, these sea trolls, sea snakes, and the lobsters, just 4 of them are taking quite a bit of time to just chew through the HP with the melee swings. And even though we're kind of approaching that end game tier of like levels and HP and like where we're at in the game kind of thing, the black belt still doesn't punch for a ridiculous amount of damage that can really just one-shot anything. Just going to be walking through the next things we're going to pick up on before coming up. We're going to make a detour for the giant gloves, which is guarded by a 9-pack enemies that we saw in Waterfall, the mummies, octopuses, and airless. The giant's gloves, when used in combat, will cast the saber spell on ourselves. What that does is decrease our accuracy and our damage by a respectable amount, a bit more than what temper spell increases your attack by. So those are great to have for the boss fights coming up. It helps us buff our black belt up to high damage. We also get the ribbon in the middle room of the floor, which is the second of our 3 ribbons that will fully protect us against status effects and significantly lower our damage. Well, I shouldn't say fully. You can still get insta-killed and status effects hitting the ribbons. It's just a lot less likely. Here's our Giant's Glove. Oof. 7 scorpions, not very good to see that fight in this comp. The quick getaway, though. There's our second ribbon. We choose to use it on our black belt. Shane's gonna manually sort the menu there to put the Giant's Glove close to the top and the full heal item in the bottom. Makes the menuing for the Giant's Glove a little easier in combat and the less likely to accidentally use that full heal item, I believe, is another part of the thinking there. I have definitely accidentally used my full heal item in a run. Very, very feels bad. Alright, we're getting a little closer every fight. We're just a little bit closer here to the Kraken fight, the King of Calamari himself. It'll be an interesting fight because, like I said, any stray hit from Kraken will probably one-shot whoever it hits. Hopefully, by the time we get the black belt up and running, he can just swing at Kraken and kill it. But if Kraken decides to kill the black belt early, might be a reset moment, depending on what happens in the next couple rounds. You could probably clutch out a fight still with buffing up the red mage, but Kraken's gotta allow that red mage to live as well. Alright. Now what we're hoping happens here is Kraken just likes to use skill over and over again because it is basically of no consequence to us. Yeah, Saber, Temper, and Haste. That can skill. With first mana buff, punch and temper for the remainder of the rounds, it looks like. Ooh, punch at the statue, you love to see it. Ooh, and that is already a humongous hit. Just one more punch and we get it done. Easy Kraken fight. Good for Shane there. No time loss. Going right on ahead. Alright, we return into town to do our probably final item shop visit of the run. We're going to max out our ethers and our high potions. And make sure we have good now Phoenix Downs. 31, I would hope, would be enough. We have 31 plus deaths from here to the end of the game. Things have gone terribly wrong. Alright, so now we have to, well, we could technically have a choice here, but what we're going to do is go to Melmon to translate the slab we picked up before the Kraken fight. Looks like we're gonna opt to buy Kiraga. Yeah, Kiraga. So that'll help with the healing. Although with the 99 high potions, more likely we don't even need to use that Kiraga spell. Because if I recall, it'll heal just about the same amount as a high potion will. And we should not come in range of using all 99 high potions. But it's always safe to have. And why not, right? Alright, so now we have translated the slab, or Risotto Stone, I should say. We're going to go to Lefane. Get the Chime, which is required to go into the sky, well, to the Mirage Tower, which will lead us to the Sky Castle. Pretty much going to run from most things on this path, I would imagine. A lot here that we would really want to spend the time to kill here. There we go. We have the last of the fetch items we will need to get into the last dungeons. I'm assuming, since it's just kind of right next door, the next place we are going to go to is the Mirage Tower in Sky Castle. Yeah. Makes more sense from a routing perspective as far as map travel goes. Be curious to see if Shane wants to take the detour to grab the Sun Sword on the next floor. I would maybe say no, even though it's a damage upgrade for the Red Mage. I'm not sure it's worth going for, but we'll see what he thinks. It is quite a bit of a detour. Yeah, our HPs are looking very good right now for the end game. If we were at Chaos right now, we would have HPs that are good. And we're just going to get even better HP along the way. Got a question from someone in chat, checking in with the question, how different is the Pixel Remaster from the GBA and Onward port? Now, I'm not very much an expert by any means of the GBA version. The PSP version I know somewhat of, but I know that this game functions very similarly to the PSP version. But the GBA version added in like all the fun little cutscenes, like the bridge building cutscene, the canal exploding cutscene. All that is here in this version. All that same stuff. As far as functionality goes, I don't really think there's much other than that and, like, you know, the optimal menu equips. The spell charges are the same as what they were in the NES in this version. There's not an MP system, so that's a little different than those two versions. Um, otherwise, well, the yeah, GBA PSP. Otherwise, um, other than the MP system being what it was in the NES version compared to the PSP version and the GBA version, not a lot of different gameplay going on here. Obviously, there's a lot of quality of life things in this game, this version, like the auto battle and the diagonal movement, the sprinting, although I think that might have been in those versions as well. Um, something that's a little annoying that wasn't carried over in this version is in the GBA and PSP version, you could just hit the L1 or L2 button, or sorry, R1, L1 buttons or whatever it would be, the shoulder bumpers. You could hit them to flee your entire party in combat. Can't do that in this version. You have to individually flee every character, which makes it a little annoying in the speedrun. This version has ethers in it. I'm not sure those were in the PSP version. That makes a big difference. Ethers restoring 1 MP charge for every magic level when you use it. It allows you to just blitz the game using large spell casts pretty much anywhere without too much worry of running out of them. They did change some of the formations and fights, though. Used to be you could only get like 9 packs of enemies and large packs of enemies if they were small sprite enemies. In the Remaster version, they have allowed large sprites of enemies to pack together to make 8 packs of enemies. Like you get 8 packs of golems. You could get, I think, 7 packs of ogres in Earth Cave. So there's some fun, unique formations that have popped up in this version throughout the game in certain areas that you wouldn't be able to see. All right, the diagonal movement coming in huge on this floor. Every diagonal step takes care of 2 cardinal steps, and it's 1 step against the encounter table as opposed to 2. Bridge of Destiny time. War Mech in this version is super rare, although will once in a while pop up, but if you're achievement hunting in this game and you're trying to get War Mech, it could take you walking back and forth on the Bridge of Destiny 3+ hours before you find your first War Mech. That would be correct, Bruno. The damage formulas follow the PSP and GBA versions very similarly as far as your stats go. Like every 10 intelligence points bumps up your spell damage by a big boost once you get to like 30 and 40 and 50, that kind of thing. But yeah, they retain the old spell numbers where you can get max of 9 spell charges per level. And they actually follow the same levels as the NES version does as far as when you get your next spell charge. But here's a Tiamat fight. This is the last of the dangerous fights before the Temple of Doom did. Tiamat decides to just spam AoE damage like that poison gas that was just thrown out on all the turns. It can put your HP in a place where you just can't win the fight. The spray fight on the Stone Fighter here is very welcome. That gives us that free turn buff, and now we should be up to snuff with enough turns to do damage before we get AoE killed. We did Kiraga the Black Belt though, so it's like we're very safe now unless we get a spray punch at the Black Belt. We're okay with Red Mages dying, and that should do it right there. Good, we get Also, Chrono, the stone spider in the front, it would probably be a large mechanic change that I glossed over. The stone character in the front slot can still receive EXP every fight, but more importantly, it can be targeted by enemies and will always result in a miss. So it's basically a super tank that you put in the top slot to absorb hits and get free turns, basically. Very, very highly utilized in the speedrun. All right, so we have one more orb to get, and it'll be a quick one. We have to go to the volcano, the quickest of the fiend dungeons, and one of the weakest of the fiends that we're going to fight. Yeah, I've played all the versions, and I used to play the FF1 rando a lot too. But the my favorite version to just play through the game is this version because of the pace you play the game as. Um, the auto battle speed up features are beautiful. The diagonal movement, it's just a fun casual play. Right, so we're already about halfway through. We got this floor, and then we're on the fiend floor. We try to walk on the lava as much as possible to avoid pushing encounters too fast. I mean, the thing in this version is you can't get encounters on lava like in any other version, but every step on lava still does advance the encounter table closer to the next encounter. As long as you stay on lava, you won't get an encounter. But the one tile you step off the lava when you're ready for that encounter on the threshold, you will get that encounter. So we try to stay on the lava as much as possible to push those encounters back still a little bit, but we can't avoid them altogether. All right. Probably get one more fight here, and then we will have the Marilith fight. Sorry, almost went for NES game again. This fight should be pretty quick. I would imagine we're gonna saber, temper, and haste the first round. Let the black belt punch and defend with the mages on the second round. Should be a two hit kill from the black belt once he's buffed up. Oh, you're good, Chrono. We appreciate you stopping by. There's that one round of buffing up. I'm still gonna go with tempers. We get good turn order here with the tempers and a good punch from the black belt. This could be a one shot here, and yes, one shot. Very good for Shane to get that perfect turn order on round two. All right, and that is all 4 crystals lit. We are now at the time of going into the Chaos Temple, or Temple of Fiends Revisited. And as far as I think, we shouldn't need to stop by any spell shops or any item shops on the way. It's just a beeline to the final dungeon. All right, So now we have Double Teams Revisited or Chaos Shrine, whichever one you want to call it. Just about every fight in this place is worth a large amount of EXP, and I would imagine Shane is going to take as many fights that are worth the time investment that he can. This, unfortunately, because we cannot one-shot it with magic, would take way too long to kill, so we run from that. Imagine we run from, like, a large pack of Black Knights if they pop up. Probably run from 4 gas dragons. That's a little dangerous. This fight, however, not too scary because we have ribbons. Okay. We have the mini boss Phantom coming up. He has the highest attack of any regular fight in the game up to 10. He can easily one-shot a character with a crit. So the Death Eye, in this version of name is, sorry. Thankfully, he tends to not swing and use, like, spells here and there. But he also has humongous defense. So you're going to want to temper up like the boss fight on this if you're going with Black Belt Punch Stretch for sure. And a awesome 1 gold on EXP for our reward. Fun fact, that Death Eye can drop an elixir according to the Bestetary, but I personally have never seen it in all the runs that I've done and kills that I've had on him. Alright, we're going to run from Ryos and Chimeras. Running from the Dragon Zombies. Definitely running from the 7 Black Plant. Hopefully, anyways. Looks like we might have missed that 3 attempts, so we're going into round 2. And there they are again. After this floor, they will not be shown up again, however. Purple Worms, great EXP. Alright, we are on Lich 2 floor. Getting to the gauntlet. We're lucky we'll see one of those special encounters of a ridiculous amount of golems that you would normally see only in, or sorry, not normally see otherwise any other version of the game. There it is. We have 6 of them on screen there. Getting through these last couple encounters. And then we're at Lich 2, which we have quick saves, so a wipe isn't terrible. Thank goodness for quick saves. But the Flare from Lich will not one-shot the black belt, but will put it so dangerous below that a regular swing attack will finish off the black belt. So if we don't see Flare, great. If we see Flare, we're kind of holding on to the bottom of our chair. So far, so good. Very buffed up. It's about time to attack and defend. Uh-oh, there's our Flare. Gonna drag it queued up, but we don't need it. We get through. Very good. All right, go up. And the fire floor is very short. Most of the encounters are pretty small numbers as well, so kind of nice to get through the fire floor. Probably the best floor in Topher as far as speed goes. Alright, Marilith 2. This is where the fiends can start hitting so hard it's scary. And yeah, we're gonna put our black belt in the bottom slot just because of that little fact right there. Gonna go ahead and get them buffed up again with the haste tempers and the giant slows. Probably 2 rounds of buff, I would imagine, before we actually swing. Right? So we're buffed up on the black belt. Drag gets thrown out. Moderate AoE damage. Stun is a good free turn. Draga to top up the black belt. And a second punch attack takes him down. 2 of the 4 refights done. We are now making our way through the Kraken 2. Many of the fights on this floor are very obnoxious. These waters, they come in large packs of enemies. They hit very hard. They tend to take turns before your party takes turns because they have high agility stats. Just not fun to deal with. And then you just have a lot of, like I said, fights that have a good amount of enemies in it that you don't want to spend time dealing with. Ooh, the worst fight right here. You do not like to see this fight at all. Okay. It's a good EXP fight right there, but it's just not what we need to do right now. We just want to get through this stuff as fast as possible. Alright. Now we heal up, quick save, and we are ready for the Kraken fight. If you thought Kraken 1 is dangerous, this is even worse. We get our haste out, we get our giant stuff and temper. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. I mean, imagine the stories being told of the heroes that saved the world, and then you have to put in the part about how you were them after the entire time. Alright, we're ready to start putting the punches out there. We're going to buff up the red mages a little bit, make our next couple hits even better. One more swing. Very good. That was a very kind Kraken 2. No punches, 1 Thundara spell. Everything else was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Not even gonna bother reshuffling our party because this floor is so short. We get one fight between it and the orb. Get away. We'll be healing and quick saving. Now, funny enough, the Tiamat 2 fight is actually safer than the Tiamat 1 fight. Because the Tiamat 2 fight has more things like that, Lazara, that do less AoE damage that it can use, other than the Tiamat 1 fight that only has large AoE damage skills. But Tiamat 2 can use Pandara, Blazara, Fyra, Scourge, which usually gets resisted. All that is way less dangerous than a Blizzard, a Blaze, and a Thunderbolt, and a Poison Blast. We have 3 rounds of buffs up. We are going to punch the Tiamat into Oblivion. I would expect a Karaga is going to get screwed up to safety on the black belt. Probably one more good punch, maybe 2 here. And there we go. We got through the 4th pre-screen fight. We have one more random encounter to get away from, and then we have to get on the fight. And oh boy, do we have a chaos fight. It is insanely RNG heavy. Not uncommon to take 4 or 5 attempts to get through it. We'll see how lucky we get this time. We call it the Chaos Casino for a reason. Here we go. Will we get the rare one and done? With the red mages, supposed to be safer. We'll see though. The goal of the chaos fight here is we're going to want to start out by trying to get our black belt up to 999 HP by throwing out some giant strength. We'll also throw out a haste because we're going to go 3 giant strength. Ooh, opening a flare, and that is our first fight. And that is how a world record run can die. Just like that. This run is very volatile on the final boss. Very rough RNG, for sure. 2 red mages better than 2 black mages? Not for speed, but for safety, yes. If you're looking for a more safe route through the game in a speed run, you would use red mage too. But you will not be able to do it as fast as black mage run does. Alright, so we're... Ooh, that's unfortunate. We survived by 3, so... I mean, technically we could get there, but man, this is not good whenever you have to spend all the rounds up that we're going to have to use in any round we have to do. We're going to have to use about 5 to 6 saber gauntlets per giant token, meaning we're going to have to use 3 speed tokens before we can punch the ass. That's 9 rounds of buff. We're at 4 saber gauntlets. Chaos giving us some things to work with here. 5 saber gauntlets. Kind of. Oh, we're gonna. Ooh. His idea was he was gonna Phoenix down one of the red mages. It's a very hard thing to do, is get a revive on a character and then not have them die in the next round. When you get Phoenix down revived in this game, you are there with 1 HP. Alright, so round number 3 for Shane on Chaos here. Giants Tonic, all 3 again. Oh my gosh, did we get punched on the black belt? Oh, there's a nice Nice timely flare to help us wipe faster, which is what we were looking to do. But yeah, we're at attempt number 4 now. We're getting into the average clear range. Going too much past this, we get to the unlucky range. Alright, let's see how the Chaos opens up this time. Ooh. Is that the haste caster? Don't know. Alright, good turn order for the Giant time to go off before the explosion. Oh, it was not the haste caster, so we're still in an okay spot here. That's good, that's good. We got haste coming out and a Giant slow. Hopefully the red mage can stay alive to help clear out some tempers. Nice, haste and chaos, although scary. It is a turn that the red mage is able to help us buff up. Cyclone takes out the red mage, we're down to a very dangerous situation. Like great punch on black belt will kill. This is dangerous. We're gonna need to use our full heal here. Oh, punch shot on the statue. That's why he's there. Lazara, love to see it. Alright, we don't have speed potions out yet, which is a little concerning. We have enough saber gauntlets though. Nice, get a speed potion out. Get another one out. Full heal. We are online. We are going to start punching, I think. 3,780. We have 20,000 HP to chew through. 3,700. We're at 7,400 HP. We're at 11,000 HP down. 15,000 almost. We're just shy of 15,000. Oh, one more punch would have done it. No, we get the AoE spell down. Oh, we were one punch out of clearing that fight. That's a rough one to go. All right. Attempt number, where are we at? 5, 6, 6, I think. All right. Well, that's not good. We get punched, but we survive. If this is a good round for Chaos to do something little or not hit the black belt, perhaps probably too much. Yeah, and then just by a little bit. All right, just gonna let Chaos kill us at this point. It's faster than force closing the game and reopening it. All right, more attempts coming up. Oh, cycle. You don't like to see it. Lazar is good though. Get one red mage to stay alive. Oh, get that speed target a little bit. Put the finish down. Cool. Didn't get it off though. Going for the finish down again. The AoE. Yeah, it's so risky to try to use Phoenix down on Chaos. You don't have to stay out. Well, we are getting a lot of sabers out. Don't for Phoenix down again. want that haste? Is that what we're trying to get? Yeah, we didn't get the haste off. Oh, but we will get the haste off. Chaos lets us get that red mage in action. Nice job, Chaos. Now we just want to get some speed drinks out. Unfortunately, the red mage will not be able to help with that. Ooh, no. Ah, darn, man. The stray punch down on the bottom black belt. This is rough. This is getting into the very unlucky range as far as how many attempts it should take to get through a chaos fight. We just do not get a good chaos opener. Our haste caster goes down. Oh my god. Flare. Oh, you feel for Shane now, man. Shane is just getting the rotten luck. He had a race against me earlier this week, and similar situation. He took a lot of chaos attempts just because he kept getting the bad chaos RNG. Come on, chaos. Do something that is not going to do damage or not kill. Let's go. Oh, we got turn order on the haste caster. That's fair. But yet, there we are. Transonic time. No, now we need good luck to not die to something here. Hey, Earthquake! Good luck. Look at that. You got one speed drink out. 2 speed drinks out. All the turn order pays off. Chaos punches him. Oh no. Don't punch the bottom. Stop that. Stop punching the bottom, Chaos. Don't. Alright, yes. Swing at the statue. We welcome that. Earthquake, okay. You know, Chaos is playing a little kind here. Don't like to see that, though. Punchy Chaos, but he's putting up the punches between the statue and the black belt. Alright. Damage time. Looking at 3,000 to swing. That's good enough. Please stop Chaos. Alright, we got about halfway through his HP. Oh, we got one on the statue! We get a full heal. We are halfway through Chaos's HP. We need about 3 to 4 more rounds. 3 more rounds. Maybe 2 more rounds. Oh, we need 1 more round. Big hit. There it is. GG to Shane. Clocking in and just under 2 hours and 14 seconds. 2:13:59. Way to stick it out. GG to Shane. Man, that was a very punchy chaos, but it was a chaos that punched both the black belt and the top statue. It was a little scary there. All right, so we'll give Shane a minute to make his way into the interview room. And there he is. How's it going, Shane?
Hey, chaos, being chaos.
That was hard to watch. That was so hard to watch. Like, especially after the luck you had against our race earlier in the week too. You
He didn't give me a single good opening.
I know
Not
it
even
was
when
so
I finished.
bad. Well, you know what's funny though is when you finished, it was hilarious because you had 2 instances where your red mage outturned Chaos,
Yep.
and actually got the buffs out when he got targeted. It was funny.
Yeah, Chaos he hates me.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You're just getting them all out of the way now. You're gonna have smooth chaoses for the next matches that you have throughout the rest of this round robin tournament.
Yeah, it was I kind of winged most of that run, so I wasn't planning on my fighter being a statue the whole run.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was going to talk a little bit with you about your decision on your party comp and how the plan was supposed to roll. You know, but
plan is
yeah, go ahead.
Supposed to be we have 4 melees that melee everything down really quickly. But by the end of the game, I want the fighter to become a statue, preferably in like the Temple of Fiends Revisited, up against the Sarias or the Gurmedusa, whatever they're called now.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got petrified in Earth Cave, I was like, you know what? Let's just run with it. So I just kind of ran with it with the 3 guys, which probably cost me about 3 minutes over the course of the run of just fights being slower.
Yeah.
But it worked out.
Yeah, I was curious what, like, I'll be honest, I didn't really have any idea how you were planning on running the 2 red mage comp because I personally have never tried it. I hate red mages in this version.
Yeah,
but
they can't nuke at all.
My guess was that I thought you were going to purposely petrify the fighter in Earth Cave. When it happened, I thought it was just sheer, like, good luck for you. I didn't know you were planning on going all the way to the Temple of Fiends Revisited with the fighter alive. That was something I did not account for.
With 4 melees, they can take out a lot of the enemies pretty quickly. The fighter does more damage than the red mages do. And you saw the red mages were still doing decent damage, like almost the same as the monk for like the entire run.
Mm-hmm.
The fighter does even more than that. But I just saw that he was petrified early on. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to risk him wasting tons of time later on to try to get him petrified. I'll just take it now and just carry on.
Yeah, and I'm also going to pull up Steve in here for him to talk about his unfortunate happenings. Did you happen to pop up the stream, Shane, and see what happened with Steve?
I just turned on the stream in the background at one point and saw that he had a black screen there, and I'm like,
Yeah, he was in, I believe it was Marsh Cave, and he got through the crown fight pretty well, and then he was on his way out of that floor. He had a wipe, he had to reset. I think he force closed the game. And then when he went to reopen the game, things just started going crazy with OBS on his computer. He had to like restart his PC because he couldn't like task manager force close OBS. I don't know. But Steve is in here now. He can talk to us about what's going on. How's it going, Steve?
Doing good, Thunder. Thank you. Yeah, a little bit of clarification there. I used up my Phoenix down after Pixel Demons, and then I went down, of course, to surprise Scorpions. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do a quick little reset. I had a quick save right after it, and continue my race. And Steam RNG being Steam RNG decided, no, not today. Try to do some end tasks, clear everything out, and get back into it. But unfortunately, yeah, it wasn't working, even with a restart of the whole computer.
That's so weird and unfortunate. Like, you've never experienced any technical issues like that, I'm assuming, up until it just happened.
Yeah, this is the first time, I would say. Sometimes the controller doesn't like to activate right after a quick restart. That's like as far as it's been. Maybe a shutdown on Steam and bringing it right back up, and it's good to go. But yeah, it was pretty bad today.
Yeah, well, I'm really sorry to see that happen to you, Steve, in a competitive tournament race type of situation, because you know the pressure's there, and then I'm sure you're feeling like, oh man, I let the restream down too. The race is supposed to be a show, but don't feel too bad. I mean, obviously that's not anything that was in your realm of control. And Shane still let the show go on. We appreciate that.
Yeah, It was still rather unique, because I'm sure it'll be the only red mage showing.
I was gonna say, at least it gave me a chance to like focus in on the red mage run, so I could actually like see what was going on and talk about the difference between that and versus what a black mage run would do. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Because it changes so much when you do 2 red mages versus 2 black mages. Like you're doing so many different equips. You're selling different things, keeping different things that you pick up. You might be going for different boxes. You know, like it changes the run a good amount where it's so different.
Oh yeah.
And then
I'm
like
sure you noticed.
like you were saying, the petrification is such a different thing too. Like you do it so differently.
And you can actually make it through without petrification. Just the chaos fight is a little different. Because normally you're just hoping chaos punches the fighter.
That's the 1.0 version of our speedrun. We didn't know about the petrification thing like the first month we were speedrunning this game. We would go fighter, black belt, black mage, and just hope that chaos punched the fighter and did enough other stuff that it didn't ruin the fight. It was worse than what you see now, guys. The chaos fights back then were so bad. Like, it was like, you maybe 10% of the time you killed chaos.
Yeah, not having a statue in chaos makes the fight a lot more difficult. Unless you have a white mage. If you have a white mage, you can not worry about it, because a white mage can keep your whole party alive.
Yes.
But yeah, I had a lot more money than you have on black mage routes. Like, you give so much cash from not spending money on those spells.
Yeah, that is another point that I saw. Is like, I was pretty sure you weren't going to buy Faraga because the red mages both spell damage and how many spell casts they'll get for that level.
Yeah.
You just won't make use of it. I had a feeling that, and then Thundaga, I was kind of wondering if there was going to be a pickup there. I couldn't even remember if red mages could learn Thundaga pre-promotion, to be honest.
Red mage can not learn Thundaga until class change.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning on, kind of 50-50 on. I couldn't tell if it was going to be a thing or not. But then I was like, as you were going through Crescent Lake and you had that large chunk of money, I was like, all right, he's probably going to be saving up to buy all the ruby bracelets and pro rings for every character when he gets to Gaia. That's the money goal at this point.
Yep, I was able to afford 2 ruby bracelets for the red mages. If I wanted to play it safer, I could have picked up a pro cape in Sky Castle and another one in Temple of Fiends for the red mages to have even more defense.
Yeah, that's true.
If they roll on their hit points, they can survive his punches.
Yeah, and then I point out that it was a really cool thing that you picked up the buckler in Crescent Lake, because it's not much absorb damage, but it's got the parry chance to completely negate any damage that's going into the red mage. But yeah, I don't remember seeing it proc at all.
It happened a few times, and the pro cape does the same thing. Yeah. But it's mostly just extra absorption, so the mages survive. I mean, I'm sure you noticed my red mages weren't just falling over dead left and right.
Right, no, they were able to take the hits, especially in Sea Shrine. That's very noticeable because, you know, a stray sea lobster hitting your black mage is a 2-shot, sometimes a 1-shot. Your red mage is able to take like 5 hits of those things without dying.
Yeah, so it was just, it's a lot different, and it would have been nice if my red mages would have gained HP early on, but they didn't get a single strong level up.
I pointed out at the very beginning of the run that red mages have very bad HP growth in this version of the game. I was kind of keeping my eye on your HP totals and making commentary here and there, where your HP was versus what they should be in a good speed run. You are matching what the black mage's HP growth goes through pretty much the whole run. In Ice Cape, you're around 170, which is kind of average for, or not Ice Cape. Where was it? Oh no, you were pretty much average until about Sea Shrine. You were starting to shoot ahead on HP.
Yeah, red mages, once they hit the mid to late game, their HP starts to shoot up way ahead of black mages. And early game, all you need is one good early hit point roll, and you're golden.
Yeah, so the red mage is definitely safer, but still RNG dependent on your level ups.
I mean, even with 30-something HP, they can tank hits from sharks and stuff because they have chainmail on.
Makes the pirate fight faster, and like some of those early game fights faster too, where you're just swinging the rapier versus the animation of a spell and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about what battles you get. You can get a pack of 9 enemies and just melee them down in a decent amount of time without worrying about your characters dying. You have cure spells early on for extra safety to heal yourself. I didn't have to buy very many potions even for Marsh Cave because I have like an extra 10 free heals.
Yeah, you're making good use of that level 1 cure spell to save some potioning and stuff. The Kuraga pickup at the late game made good use. I think Tiamat 2, it saved you from... Well, I mean, you probably would have high potioned at some point, but that Kuraga on Tiamat 2 did actually matter on the Black Belt getting through that fight.
The Kuraga is about twice as powerful as a high potion. So, depending on what happens in fights, sometimes it can really save you. And if you still have a red mage alive in the Chaos Battle, you can start throwing out Kuragas instead of high potions to try to, make your elixirs last longer.
There you go. Well, I gotta kind of keep it short personally for myself. I have to be heading to work here in a couple minutes. I'll open up the final thoughts. Shane, you've been talking a bit. Let me give Steve a chance to go first. Steve, do you have any final thoughts you want to share?
I would say thank you for everybody for being here. Of course, not the most exciting race considering unfortunate circumstances, but thank you to Shane as well for continuing on with the race and giving everybody a good show. Thunder took it on yourself to solo commentate and do all that. I appreciate you for being here and everybody else for watching, and looking forward to the next race in the tournament.
Right, well said, and appreciate the shout out there. Shane, how about you? Anything else you want to share about the seed or say?
Just if anybody has more questions about running different kinds of classes in the game, they can always just ask me sometime on Twitch, or they know me on Discord. I've ran all sorts of classes and all sorts of versions of the game, so I've got a good idea of how to make it through.
That is true. Shane is kind of like a local expert on just about every version of this Final Fantasy game, and he has done just about any challenge you could think of under the sun. Done it well, so definitely give a follow to the runners here if you want to see more randomizer or just anything else Final Fantasy related. And you guys, I will be closing out here. I appreciate everybody coming in to watch as well, and SpeedGaming for letting us use your channel to restream this race. Look forward to more races coming up. I believe there's one on SpeedGaming 1 right now that's in mid-session. Otherwise, you guys all have a good night, good evening, and we will see you next time.